All right, I got cut off again. So, and I lost another 16-minute video the other day. The government is, in fact, interfering with me through YouTube, through hackers, whatever. It's July the 23rd, Monday, 2012. This is a fourth edition to the Colorado, as a presidential candidate, HRM Cesar St. Augustine de Buenaparte. They are interfering with me, and they have been for years. And because I was in the middle of recording just a couple of minutes ago, and after 1 minute into the recording, they disconnected me. So yes, there is a conspiracy against me because they don't want me to tell you what I've already told you in the first 3 videos, plus there's future predictions in those videos, and they're all cryptic. Now, if the government really wants to know what's going to happen, I'm not going to tell them directly because they have destroyed my life. My more than 200 videos, my book videos on YouTube explain that. Now, there's a reason why I mentioned the Kennedy assassination and the Zapuder film. Movies, see? The event was going, I said, every bad thing you've done to me, the city of Los Angeles, the county, the federal government, in ignoring my plights, ignoring all my civil rights violations, bad things are going to happen to you. Now, bad things already happen all the time. We understand that. But how they happen, certain people have stimulus that make them super aware of where these events are going to happen. And I've told you already, I predicted 9/11 7 years before it happened. In a giant letter to the White House. See, the Clinton White House, they don't get it. They're the ones that don't get it. And the media, look at them. They played it up, and Obama's there, sucking up the publicity and visiting the people that are shot like he's so important. Okay? Like what he says means more in sympathy and compassion than what I could ever say. Of course I'm going to say, after the damages that have been done to me by your country, by your collective American citizenship, yeah, I'm going to hate all of you. It doesn't matter. Hate is a nice word for how I feel being held prisoner with what was left of my possessions in this country now that they've raped me and stripped me of practically every possession I've ever had, including what's going on at storage, etc. Those people, the storage places, are all sick. They have these strict rules, and they ask twice the amount of money, exorbitant amounts for their square footage of space. No. The evil in this world is taken out only on the poor people who never have a chance to really make something of their life. It takes 3 times as much work today for a poor person to make it somewhere than it did in the 1950s. And that leaves only one conclusion. We're living in an accelerated dual dictatorship. A dual dictatorship run by Democrats, Republicans, Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, conspiracies. You can go on talking for ages about this. Talking isn't going to change it. Like I told you, take your money out of the banks, stop buying gasoline, bring this country to a halt. Show them who's really in charge. The problem is you can't convince the middle class because they're already addicted. Addicted to their creature comforts. While us at the poor level who have been attacked and they've taken stuff from us over and over again, the authorities, it just continues. It's not going to stop until we're reduced to the street and have absolutely nothing except the shirt on our backs and whatever else is we can pull along with a cart or whatever. No, this is evil. They took 24 cars, sailboats, motorhomes. They destroyed my life. What took me 20 years to collect, they took 9 years to take away from me. So, let's talk about the predictions. In the little letter on the side that I have on my part 1, 2, and 3 of Aurora Borealis shootings in Colorado, I mention hack the White House phones, and at the end I say solar flares. Solar flares connected to the name Aurora Borealis. That statement was pasted 2 weeks ago, before this event took place, on my YouTube stuff. Now, my YouTube book, as I call it, or diary. Now, let's see. The next thing I noticed was that I kept telling the media over YouTube that you got to pay me the same amount of money that was paid for the Zapuder film for the Kennedy assassination. There was another big hint, a cryptic prediction, not just a solar flare connected to the word Aurora, which is a town in Colorado. Film, Zapuder film, number 1, of a violent act. 2, the fact that the film translates to something happening in a film, watching a film, a movie theater. 3, Aurora Borealis is very colorful. What made James Holmes dye his hair red? Coincidence? Aurora Borealis is full of many colors, very bright, bright colors. Well, he colored his hair red. So, and I'm wearing a pink hat, so the point I'm making is that I'm not the crazy one. You people are. This is your collective. And you've kept me prisoner here for a long time. Long enough to hurt my health, to hurt my lifestyle, to destroy my life, take all my money, my possessions, and still you're doing it. Because everything that your authority figures did to me forced me into making decisions that led to the next demeaning step, the next step that was hurting me, the next step that was destroying me. This is not something that you people will ever understand, and that's what's sad. Now, when I did the call, because of such a dramatic event in Colorado, of course I put Colorado shooting, I title it. In the first half hour that I did part 1 of Aurora Borealis, where I say you deserve it, I got like 20 views. Now it's up to 55. That's the most that's ever happened before. So see, a violent event has to happen before you people react. Now I've told you, as a presidential candidate in 2008, and long before that, I knew, because I'm a weapons expert, I do know all about guns. And let me tell you, what's funny about this is that there has been a way to make sure that you know when something like that is going to happen way ahead of time, that the authorities can act on it long before anything happens. Like I said in my other videos, the CIA, the NSA, Homeland Security, they foiled all these terrorist plots and magnified them greatly in the headlines. But they didn't catch this one, did they? And I'm sure the citizens of Colorado are really pissed off. Well, citizens of Colorado, listen to this. Caesar's life was trapped here. I was supposed to move down to south of Salida, Colorado, where I was buying property through the Windmill Restaurant. That was one of my parcels that I was buying so that I could move there and get away from these crazy people and start my own think tank society, a new city that truly does represent freedom and liberty. And you know what? Every step of the way, the government knew what I was doing, and they interfered every step of the way. And I'm not kidding. This is not crazy. I'm telling you the absolute truth. And instead of people standing behind me and forming a coalition and saying, you know what, Caesar's right. Yeah, he rants and raves and he gets a little crazy, but I'm sure Obama and all the other presidents have done that in private. Ooh, don't do that in public. Ooh, my God, the people will judge you terribly. Like when Reagan did this. The media put that all over the world, you know. So figure this out. The media is bought and paid for by Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, the Rockefellers. I mean, they control the media. Otherwise, you would have seen me a long time ago debating with Bush and Kerry. Did you know that I won 4 debates on an FM station when Bush and Kerry were debating in Kansas City, Missouri, you know, up there. And in that city, when they were there, doing their presidential debate, they had an alternative debate on an FM station in that city, and they claimed that the rush hour crowd, I had these debates with 4 different lesser-known presidential candidates, and I got more than 90% of the vote. Truth. 90% of the vote, which really surprised me. They didn't tell me they were doing this until after the first debate. So that motivated me to really up my presence improve my presence on the radio station, and the votes got higher, not lower, in favor of me. So see, it behooves the government to block someone like me and make sure that ABC, CBS, NBC, that no one will ever ban behind me. That's why they allowed the 200 videos. Because, see, I rant and rave so much, no one's ever going to sit through all those videos and watch. And let's say, if you're really smart, you ignore my ranting and ravings, which, by the way, my predictions about future events are in some of those ranting and ravings. Okay? But there are a lot of notes you can take that are actually super intelligent, that you can add a little bit of your own genius to the idea that I'm talking about, or ideas, and go, wow, you know, maybe this guy is right. And, you know, maybe we do need to do a complete overhaul, a change of everything that we've been doing, because obviously we're not doing everything right. Those people didn't have to die in that theater, nor did the congresswoman have to be shot, nor did we have to have oil spills for more than 20 years because they didn't listen to me, or nor did we have to have droughts right now like what's going on because the Department of Commerce, who communicated with me, corresponded with me for almost 6 months to a year over a water recycling 2-story house project that I was talking about back then in the 80s. No, you know, what is wrong here is that no one is listening enough to my videos. You'll go to movies and see violence and violence and violence, and I rant and rave, which kind of like is a sort of violence, a verbal violence, because I'm bouncing from one subject to another like playing ping pong, just to keep everything confused. I do that on purpose. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And instead of people going, you know, maybe this guy is right. Of all the crazy things, maybe he is 100% right. These people are out of control. Maybe 9/11 was a conspiracy. Maybe the Kennedy assassination was a conspiracy. Now, interesting to note, I mentioned the Kennedy movie, right? Interesting to note that Lee Harvey Oswald was caught in a theater. Of course, not doing the assassination, but he was caught in a theater. Again, I knew all this history, so I used it as part of a prediction. The Kennedy assassination, me telling the media they got to pay me the same amount of money for they paid Zapuder for the film. The film was, and these are on the last 3 months. I knew about this guy 3 months ago or 4 months ago. I was picking up on it. How? 99th monkey philosophy, entanglement, quantum theory, and the fact that some people are really gifted with a super gift of knowing exactly through an awareness profile, a high level of profile awareness that tells them where these next events are going to take place. And I'm one of them. How do you think psychics do it? Psychics are able to predict future not because they have some special gift. Psychics can predict the future because of quantum physics. The White House right now has a communication line called a quantum communicator that through quantum cryptography, they're able to communicate with the Pentagon without any interference. Is this true? Oh yeah, it's true. Let's see. Let me show you so that you don't think I'm crazy. If you think I'm crazy, go buy this book, the Code Book. Okay? This book tells you, authored by Simon Sinji, tells you about Charles Bennett, who in the 80s managed to get a quantum cryptological message between two computers at 12 inches apart, a foot apart. Then someone else made it even further in Geneva. And then, you know, they're talking about the fact that if they can do it over a couple of miles, then they could probably install one in the White House and to make sure that any cryptic messages are not interfered with. But it doesn't matter what I can prove or don't. The point is, if you look at my videos, you'll see I made these predictions. I took and used that specific movie, the Zapuder film, of a violent act, and the fact that it was a movie, and the fact that Oswald was in a theater when he was caught, and the fact that I mentioned solar flares and the name of the city was Aurora. Oh, I'm connecting the dots. And if you watch all my videos in the last, let's say, month, you'll hear bits and pieces of this predictions, a puzzle prediction I call it, which I tell the White House and the crappy government that they're not getting a direct prediction from me ever, because you took my buses, my cars, my boats, my motorhomes. It took you 9 years to take everything of value from me. So now I'm taking everything of value from you by not giving you any predictions, except through some form of rhyme or code or cryptology that you have to figure out. You got to work for it now. So you want these people to not die? The congresswoman getting shot, all that could have been prevented. The oil spills could have been prevented. The droughts could have been prevented. Tornadoes can be stopped in their tracks. I know how to do it. You may think I'm crazy. Go right on ahead. There are alternative peaceful solutions to everything that goes on in our world. And instead of using those alternatives, Obama, Vigorosa, crappy Democrats, Republicans, the dual dictatorship you have going on here is going to fall apart eventually. Your economy hasn't recovered, and it's not going to recover. It's going to get worse. They're going to start firing reporters soon. All right, we're at 16 minutes. I don't want to go too far into this. More ranting and raving about the Colorado shooting and how I predicted it. Cryptically, of course. Now, you figure it out, ABC, CBS, NBC, you crappy, lousy media. You blocked me for years and decades. Go screw yourselves.